And this appointment, if I may add to your comment, this appointment is for a year, and it looks like it'll take about a year for us to deal with all the different agencies that need to weigh in on this, including the Board of Supervisors at some point.
Okay. We ready to vote on the appointment? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, approved unanimously. Thank you. Any additional appointments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome, Supervisor. Now let's convene as the County Redevelopment Agency and take up item 11A to the CEO's office as the sponsor.
Yes, this item for the redevelopment agency has been in the works for a number of months. The Department of Transportation has been providing staff support for work in the North State Street area under the redevelopment agency, and this is merely formalizing the agreement for the work that's going forth and for future work that is planned.
So
Okay, comment to the board.
I have a question. How much is in the redevelopment agency?
I believe at the end of June 30th, it was approximately $600,000.
Yeah, so this, I mean, and it's been on decreasing assessed valuation, right? Because the Masonite site in there.
It's our intent to discuss that with the board on the March 17th forum that we're going to be doing on economic development. I think that there are a number of opportunities with the redevelopment agency that depend on some significant activities in those areas, and we plan on discussing that with the board.
I guess this redevelopment agency's been going on about 6-7 years now.
We're scheduled, I don't know how long, I could give you the exact date, but we're scheduled, I believe, late this year to go through and adopt the redevelopment agency goals and objectives as part of the 5-year plan. So there is a 5-year plan that expires at the end of 2008, and that's part of what we need to update.
My concern is what we're committing here is more than, the redevelopment agency's only accumulated $600,000 in 7 or 8 years, and now we're proposing to spend $500,000 of it over 3 years. We're spending it quicker than it's accumulating. That's, it's not a really what you'd call a thriving redevelopment agency.
No, it's not, and you're also part of the normal expenditure of those funds you would use for housing also. So I think there's a number of opportunities that are out there, but we do need to take economic development more seriously because that revenue coming in will provide opportunities to bond and do future projects.
I've been on the board 13 months now, and this is even the first discussion we've had about our redevelopment agency. Mm-hmm. Maybe because there's no money there's not much to discuss. But
actually, our office feels there's a number of issues to discuss, and you'll be seeing more agendas during the course of the year because it is a significant part of economic development in our office's opinion.
And to that comment, that is why I put this as a separate redevelopment agency convening, because this is going to happen more often as we proceed into the year and into the years in the future. So I think it was important that we set it aside as much as we do for the water agency, a convening of this discussion item. Before Supervisor Pinches, let's go to Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that you did do this delineation with respect to the agenda. I think that's a good way to go because then it will be coming before the public in a more transparent manner as we move forward. And just along those lines, I just wanted to, for the record, make sure that we document that the expenditure that we're discussing here today, this $500,000 over 3 years, as the local match for North State Street Corridor Improvement Project, we're not talking about general fund dollars. And we just wanted to get that, make sure that that was in the record.
And as you previously stated, it is over a 3-year allocation. Supervisor Pinches.
Well, yesterday we had our MCOG meeting and we accepted applications for the following 3-year STIP program, and it kind of I'm kind of confused why the Department of Transportation didn't put this North State project as an application for the STIP, but yet they applied it to basically strip all the funds out of redevelopment agency. Can you say, what was the reasoning behind this?
I can only give you some brief comments in my discussions with the Department of Transportation Director. These funds are going to be dealt with as the RDA funds, or more the local match funds, for some further activity that he is going to be applying for. I do know that there are a number of issues relating to the STIP funds and how they're currently allocated, and I will be discussing those with the Transportation Director.
Well, certainly, the North State Improvement Project would be qualified under STIP. I'm just curious to why they never sent an application for funding through the STIP, but yet they did it through the redevelopment agency.
That's a question I can pose to
The North State Street project is really not new. Matter of fact, yesterday morning, Phil Dowd told me that 20-some years ago, when he worked for the county, that was the North State Street Improvement Project was a project that he worked on when he worked for the county over 20-some years ago. So it's nothing new. I'm just curious why they didn't send in an application.
I'll have to talk to our Transportation Director about that. There are a multitude of funds, I know, in the North State Street. We've been talking about using the Rule 20A funds for PG&E to underground some of the utilities. There's some match opportunities, so I will speak with Howard and get a response back to you on that subject.
The information I have on the specifics on that is that the North State Street project has received STIP funds. In fact, they were even over-allocated. And so they've received a good portion of funding in, I think, this current cycle. And they're receiving funds. That was my understanding.
Yeah, but they can apply for more.
Okay. Any additional comments from the board? Comments from the public in regards to the redevelopment agency allocation over a 3-year period of $500,000 for North State Street Improvement Project. Estelle Clifton.
Members of the board, Estelle Clifton. I'm glad to see this on the agenda, and I think that it is good to see that and hear from the CEO that these redevelopment topic is going to be, he's going to bring it forward more and look for more funding, because I do agree that it does take money to bring in the economic development, and that is good to hear, and I encourage you guys to pursue that. Thank you.
Thank you. Other members of the public wishing to comment on this item? Seeing no one step forward, back to the board. I'll invite action on the board's part.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded for approval of item 11A. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion from the board on this redevelopment item?
I will be voting no on this. I have had concerns about the operation, the initiation, the operation, and the functioning of the agency, and or the project. And I think that question raised about the funds generated and available at this time raises the questions that I raised some 7 or 8 or 9 years ago, when this was seen as a win-win-win situation. In fact, I think it's been when we calculate in the various investments of time and effort on the part of the CEO's office under various leadership and staff time and so forth, I feel that we need to take a much closer look at the so-called redevelopment agency here in Mendocino County. So I will